All right, so it is officially the second half of the baseball season, or well, it would be today if the Yankees decided not to get sick over the All Star break. So that honor will now go to the Twins and the Tigers at 2:20 on Friday the 16th. So it's officially we are in the second half, even if it's like technically it's like the 92nd game of the season, and we just got off of a really interesting All Star break. I'll tell you, it's one of the most exciting ones in a while. They said they drew for the All Star game 9.48 million people into the Summer Classic, which compared to the this year's NBA All Star break was about 4 million more than that. So talk about the sport being dead isn't. Rumors might be greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, this is actually the first. I didn't watch the All Star game, but
I had to.
Yeah, you got paid to watch the All Star game.
Yeah.
I had. I didn't watch the All Star game, but this was the first home run derby. Well, I didn't watch the entirety of it because I was doing other things. I was doing other things and missed the first bit, so I started watching when Ohtani.
Oh, you missed. I was gonna say, did you at least see Ohtani versus Soto?
Yeah, I started watching when Soto had like 6 home runs or something like that, or just as he was coming out of his like first out of his timeout. So that's when I first started. And that was a lot of fun. I thought that was the first matchup. I was like, oh wow, they're starting really late.
Nope, that's the last one of the first round.
Like, and then my uncle's texting me. He's like, "Wow, did you see Alonso hit all those home runs?" And I'm like, "What?" And I'm like trying to like fast forward on Hulu, and I'm like, because I got that Hulu live TV thing, and I'm like trying to go. I'm like, it's not letting me. And then I realized I was like, oh, I missed the first part.
Yep.
Because I would have thought that the number 1 seed would have went first, but
no, the number 1 seed gets to wait. And I said the one that the only one shout outs to Salvador Perez. He had the second most home runs of the first round's regular point, and he couldn't pass because the Pete Alonso, who's the king of the derbies now, it looks like, set a new record for how many you can hit in the first round. Yeah. At 35.
See, I kind of like what they have, like, for hitting wise. I like this time frame sort of thing, and then getting the extra 30 seconds depending on how far your home runs go. But what I don't like is this bracket thing. Just let everyone hit, and then whoever the top 4 guys are go, and then the top 2.
Yeah, but then it leads to stuff like the like Ohtani and Soto's swing off, where you see what's happening and
but then you get something like Perez where then he can't continue even though he hit the second most. I think that's completely unfair because it's completely not really against anybody. I mean, you are, but you're not. And I think that's just kind of. Not as exciting.
Well, I'll tell you what I can make it more exciting. That have as much as it's good to see guys like Joey Gallo and Matt Olson and Trey Mancini, especially with Trey Mancini's story. It's great to see those guys. Where is Aaron Judge? Where is Vlad Guerrero? Where is Tatis Jr.? Where are the guys?
Apparently, I think said he might join for next year. Was it Tatis for next year?
Well, that's not surprising since Los Angeles isn't that far from San Diego. That's an easy hop, but still, like back where the days when it was Ken Griffey Jr. doing the Derby all the time, when it was Prince Fielder, when it was the guys that you wanted to see in the Derby, not the guys that just happened to choose to be in the Derby. Like, don't get me wrong, like it's Pete Alonso doing it 2 years in a row, and I hope he does it next year.
Yep.
That is doing it. Yeah, the three-peat. That
three-peat.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. That it's good to see them, but imagine a derby with Ohtani, Guerrero, Tatis, Acuna, Judge, Stanton.
Trout.
Yeah, Trout, and of course Alonso, who's the king of swing at these derbies nowadays. but get a all-star.
I would
home
have
run
liked to
derby.
see like Miguel Cabrera do it. I mean, not now. He's a bit too
Back
old
in the
for
day.
it. But back in the day, he would have
Yeah,
been. Because Cabrera, I think, is like low key one of the funniest players. He's
Yeah.
always goofing around, having a great time. He would have been real great to have for the home run derby. But Pete Alonso was just. I guess he got to pick the music that was playing while he was batting. But he was just
Yeah.
like bopping around,
Yeah.
singing, having fun. I thought it was hysterical when he had one home run behind Soto and he called timeout just to hype up the crowd so he can hit 2 more home runs.
Yeah, I just feel sorry when they had to, unfortunately, in the final
Yeah.
round, that someone got hurt in Carden Field, and then they just cut to him just bopping,
Yeah.
and it's like, why are you bopping? It's like, he's just bopping. He's just keeping the hype up while he's waiting.
Mhm.
I don't fault him for that.
No, but like it was just sort of like,
was-
there's really not much you could really do at that point. But he was a lot of fun. I wish him the best of luck. I hope he continues to win more home run derbies. He's
Yeah.
a great presence. He's exactly what baseball needs.
As I said, he is right now only the he's
the third player
he-
to go back to back.
the only other ones to go back to back in Cespedes. But yeah, notably, Griffey's the only one to have won it 3 times.
Yeah.
I think.
Mhm.
So if he can get one more, and based on how he swings, I think he can easily get one more.
And he's definitely young enough to keep doing
Yeah,
it.
he's young enough that he can do. But yeah, if you look at this, like, where are that we have the last Hall of Famer to do a derby was Vlad Guerrero in 2007 to win it, and like there are a lot of people, if you go knowing that you could see, oh yeah, they're good and stuff, but you look like Todd Frazier is not exactly
Prince
the caliber
Fielder
of
should
player.
probably get into the Hall of Fame.
I think the injury cut his career too
I
short.
don't know. I still think he had some good years.
Yeah, but yeah, like the Hall of Famers: Andre Dawson, Sandberg, Cal Ripken Jr., Griffey 3 times, Guerrero, and Frank Thomas. There's also Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa in there, but they're not getting in for not other reasons. But yeah, it's like you want to see those guys, like seeing Bryce Harper, seeing Aaron Judge. That's good, but when you see, like, when it's Matt Olson's filling out and Salvador Perez is filling out, it's good, but you want to see the
Let's see
guys
Ichiro
that
come back into the home run derby. He always talked
They
about
should-
being
oh,
a
yeah.
home run hitter.
they should do a Hall of Fame home run derby. Some of them can still hit it.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
anyway, so that's baseball. This is the second half starting up. What was supposed to be today was the Yankee-Red Sox game, because usually the day after the All-Star game for baseball is what I call the quietest, worst day in the entire year, because it's the only day of the year where there's not a baseball, hockey, football, or basketball game of the men's.
Except this year because of the NBA Finals.
Yep. Except this year because the Yankees-Red Sox game got postponed, so there's no baseball game today. Hockey's already over. The Lightning won the Cup. Congrats to them. And I believe the guy's name is Maroon, who won with the Blues 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, and then he won with the Lightning last year and the Lightning again this year. So, 3-peat for him. 2 different teams.
Yeah.
So technically, there is no important game today because the Bucks-Suns game was last night, and Giannis had a big swiping save to save that game.
Yeah, so that series is all tied up at 2.
Yep.
And as it said, ESPN is quaking in its boots because it's Phoenix and Milwaukee, two places that aren't in their viewership swing house.
And apparently the referee that was for this last game or the game before, whatever it was, Chris Paul of the Phoenix Suns has never won a game when he's reffed, and it's been like 20 games or something like that.
Jeez.
Which is I don't know. Tinfoil hat time.
Yeah, that's more bad coincidence than anything else.
I don't know. Basketball's pretty fixed.
Yeah, but there's probably at least one of them where the Suns got blown out completely.
But anyway, just to transition, I guess, back to baseball a little bit. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about Rob Manfred.
Yes, Manfred, of course, as is tradition, the commissioner gets to hold court as a mid-season state of the game. And this one was pretty interesting because, as we all know, at the end of this season, the collective bargaining agreement is up, and to say it's been rather tense in the media is putting it rather mildly. But Rob Manfred has signaled that behind closed doors that it's not actually as tense as the media is going out to be, which, as someone who is in media, I can say that the media loves to make mountains out of molehills. But some interesting comments are some of the rules that came out. As you know, the last 2 seasons, doubleheaders have been at 7 innings, and extra innings, a runner is placed on second base. So Manfred has stated that he expects that neither of those, definitely the doubleheader and most likely the extra inning rules, will not survive into the new bargaining agreement. Regarding the extra inning rule, he said I'm probably the only person that likes it, which that's probably true. Like pitchers hate it, fans hate it.
Nothing's worse than having a couple sack flies, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you lost the game even though you got 2 outs. It's like, what? Like, how is that fair?
And how many walk-off sack flies have been the last few years? Because you just need 2 fly balls and that's the game.
Or a really good bunt over and a sack fly.
No one bunts anymore. Yeah. Additionally, they said that while he expects the DH to be in the National League, that's not set in stone either. And another one that's been talked about on and off again is regulating or eliminating shifts. But he didn't elaborate that much more on how that is, aside from requiring 2 infielders on each side of the base.
Yeah, that definitely needs to be implemented.
Just
as much as sticky stuff was really being OP, a shift is just completely ruining guys' careers. Mark Teixeira.
Mark Teixeira goes from a 290 hitter to a 240 hitter.
It's awful.
Yeah. Ruined a whole.
It could very well ruin his Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, it definitely knocked a first round Hall of Fame.
Definitely first. But I don't know if he's a first ballot anymore. His defense definitely didn't slow down, but his offense definitely did tank. I mean, getting that World Series in 2009. I think pads it a little bit. But who knows if they could have gotten another World Series if there weren't any shifts and he was a 290, 280 hitter. Yeah.
Because he definitely had the power. It was the average that really killed him. But the other notable thing that came out there is regarding the Oakland Athletics, and it's been an on again, off again, on again whether they're going to move to another city or they're going to stay in Oakland. It seems like every 5 years it swings from one end to the other. And Manfred has basically came out with the strongest comments to allow the A's to move. Quote, Las Vegas is a viable alternative for a major league club, and there are other viable alternatives that I haven't turned the A's loose to even explore at this point. That means he's as I said, at this point, the A's for the first time since this whole stadium drama started are the most likely to move to Las Vegas or another place than at any other point. The latest stadium deal got turned down, if I recall.
Turned down for what?
Plus, Oakland as a city itself is experiencing a rather serious economic depression itself. That crime is up. The other one of the other three big sports in the area, the Raiders, have already had long since left for Las Vegas. This time for good, it seems, based on the brand new stadium they got, and the city has basically been saying we want to keep you here, but at the same time they're keeping them stuck in the Coliseum, which that place is an absolute dump. It's the last of the multi-purpose stadiums in use outside of Tropicana, which is just an eyesore in general. But this is a football stadium that's only having baseball. It regularly floods in the dugouts with sewage. Its batting averages go to die. The A's have never had a batting champion when they have been in Oakland. And you think of, like, they had Ricky Henderson, they had all these great players, and not one of them was a batting champion. Mm-hmm. All because of that large foul territory that was needed to fit the end zones in. But now it looks like they're going to move, and I hope they move, because Manfred has been on record that until he can fix the situation with the A's and the Rays, he's not doing expansion, because if he expands to cities, that knocks out potential moving locations for those teams. So if they can do that, and it seems like all indications are that the Rays are divorcing from Tampa Bay once their lease is up, based on current rhetoric between the two. By the end of the decade, we could expand. I think we're going to have 32 teams.
Yeah. There's still always talk about Nashville.
Montreal
looks to seem to want another team again. And talking about Las Vegas. Whether the A's move there or just another team goes there.
Yeah, and you could also have maybe Oakland gets another team again. Remember, the Kansas City Royals came into existence, and the Seattle Mariners, because their previous teams left, and the cities got angry at the league and said, "Hey, we want our team back," and the league said, "We can't have your team back, but here's a brand new team that you can have." Mm-hmm. So if the A's move, you can also look at Oakland again being amazing, because that's one of the few areas I could see hosting two teams. Like, New York could technically host 3 teams if they so wanted, 2 in New York proper and 1 in New Jersey. Chicago can host 2, and Los Angeles can host, is another one that could host 3 technically.
Well, if you put one in New Jersey, they better be called the New Jersey whatever's.
The New Jersey Angels. Move the team from Anaheim so that you have the Angels and Devils.
Because I'm honestly tired of it being the New York Jets and New York Giants. Like, they're in New Jersey. Like, piss off.
So should it be then the Long Island Metropolitans?
Yes,
because they're like how the New York Islanders are the Long Island.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how this new CBA is going to go along, especially how the rest of this season goes. I mean, if this season even continues, I mean, I assume it's going to continue.
Oh, it's going.
But that the Yankees and Red Sox were forced to not play today because of the COVID test, despite the Yankees having one of the first teams to pass that 85% threshold. And this is now the second time they've been hit after that. So I don't know what's going on here. But.
Well, I can tell you what's going on. Remember that what most of them were vaccinated with were the Johnson & Johnson. Now, Johnson & Johnson protects you from serious COVID illness. It protects like 99.9% hospitalizations. But it only has a 65% effectiveness in preventing the disease to begin with. So that's the problem. Like, if I was a player, I'd say I don't want the Johnson & Johnson. I'm going to wait until I'm eligible for Moderna or Pfizer and do that. I think that's what Gio Urshela did. Or I think because
he's one of them sick right now. So
yeah, he's
they're
still
on the list anyway.
Yeah, there's still breakthrough. The ones that are known at the moment are Gio Urshela, Kyle Higashioka,
Aaron
Nestor,
Judge.
Nestor Cortez, Wandy Peralta, Jonathan Loeska, and the big one, Aaron Judge. And that's not only the big one, they've already said that Red Sox All-Stars are being asked to undergo additional COVID testing, and I assume that's happening league-wide at the moment
Yeah.
for any All-Stars, especially on the American League side.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not. If the series takes place, I don't see them playing tomorrow either. I see them doing a 3-game set, Saturday Sunday with a doubleheader on Sunday.
Yeah.
At least. If I was honest, I'd rather the series be scrapped entirely. Give the time, push as many Red Sox games as you can past the trade deadline, so that maybe the Yankees can fix that stupid roster of theirs and actually be a potent force. Because remember, right now it's 0-6, 0-7 against the Red Sox.
Something stupid like that. Not much better with the Rays.
Yeah, but the Rays they've at least won a couple.
Yeah,
games.
that's what I'm saying. The Rays series isn't much better.
Yeah, so if they can load up on the trade deadline and fix Aroldis Chapman, then I'd be in much better shape.
Get him some spider tack.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the big thing coming up right now. It's with the trade deadline. Already we've had our first big salvo with the Braves just before the All-Star break. We didn't get to talk about this, but on a fly ball by Jazz Chisholm Jr., Ronald Acuna Jr. suffered a horrific Achilles tear, and is not only out for the season. He will miss the first month of most likely miss the first month of 2022 as well.
Yeah, that's a big important injury right
there. Yeah, and after that they were wondering if the Braves would even try to contend, considering they're 4 games out, but it's a very tough NL East right now to get over the Mets. But they went to the Cubs and just got Jock Peterson to fill that outfield hole immediately. So that he'll slot right in. Maybe not with the same leadoff hitter, but it'll at least be a good defense with some pop.
Yeah. What was it? I guess right before the All-Star break, I was talking. I think Chris. Maybe it was. I don't know. I forget who it was. But it still scratched my. It still surprised me that the Marlins had the best run differential in the National League East. I mean, they don't now. The Braves have it at +19, but the Marlins are at +17. But the Marlins are 9 games back from the Mets.
Yeah.
I just find that hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I said the Marlins have the best pitching staff you have never heard of, because I'll read off this stuff. All-star Trevor Rogers, who is said that he's mistaken for 3 different other pitchers that are also named Rogers, but has a 2.31 ERA. Sandy Alcantara, the big piece in the back in the Marcell Ozuna trade, 3.09 ERA with Pablo Lopez 3.03 ERA. That is a fantastic 1-2-3 that you got there. A lot of the Yankees certainly would love.
And then the strikeouts per 9 innings, almost 8, almost 11, and almost 10.
Yeah, I was going to say, Trevor Rogers has 122 strikeouts in 101 innings. That's good for a 10.8 K to 9.
All their whips are just above 1, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and their bullpen is good too. They have a collective ERA of team ERA of 3.43 ERA, which is 4th in the National League.
Yeah.
Just where they lose out is the offense. Jesus Aguilar has been a nifty find, but if you look at Adam Duvall, has 19 home runs, but only a .279 on base percentage. That they have Corey Dickerson's been hurt for them. That's basically Aguilar, Jazz Chisholm Jr., Starling Marte as their best 3 hitters, but the rest they don't have enough to fill out a lineup properly. So, but as I said, look, that NL East is still very much up for grabs for a long-term haul. The Mets have hold of it, but the Phillies keep struggling to put a bullpen together. The Nationals are kind of in a crossroads at the franchise that, depending on what they could do, they could either try to load up again, or go into a quick rebuild for a year or two. And the Braves, it's the same deal that they have Acuna, but they might lose Freddie Freeman at the end of the year. So the Marlins, they're definitely the weakest of the three, but if they can get a couple good hitters in the offseason, I would not be surprised if they turn into at least a wild card team next year.
Yeah. They're definitely an interesting team to watch, especially after that bit of a miracle run last year.
Yeah, that's it. That's also the biggest thing. If baseball, it's not going to happen until they expand. But if they can expand to 32 teams, then the shots of like the Marlins being a playoff contender go up dramatically.
Yeah.
If they permanently add 2 more wild card spots.
One of the things I do kind of want to talk about that's not baseball is Mr. Richard Sherman. I don't know if have you heard what's been surrounding him these last couple days?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of troubling things. If you want to go over that.
So I mean, I don't know when you're going to have this completely edited. He's supposed to get more court stuff for Friday morning or whatever it is. But Richard Sherman's been in the NFL like 10 years at this point. 3 first-team All-Pros. I think like 5 Pro Bowls, whatever it is. He's won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks. Would have won a second, but they didn't rush it with Marshawn Lynch. Graduated from Stanford. Basically, I think had like a 4.0 or something ridiculous. Always one of the smartest guys on and off the field, except for that weird Crabtree rant several years back. That was a weird rant. But he's been nothing but a class act. And all of a sudden it came out, I think it was yesterday or Wednesday, that like he was some domestic violence and crashing into a concrete wall, and literally every comment was, "This doesn't seem like him," because everyone was like, he's like one of the top 5 guys you wouldn't expect this to happen to. Yeah. And apparently more details came out today. And it was that he was heavily intoxicated.
He was suicidal.
Yeah, suicidal. He attacked his father-in-law or something like that. And it was his wife's family's house that he was just sort of trespassing on. He wasn't going in there trying to specifically hurt other people. I guess he just wasn't in the right frame of mind. I mean, I guess alcohol will do that to you.
Saying if it seems out of character, maybe it signals to like a drinking problem or something.
So that's actually what my friend Nick was saying. Maybe he's got like one of those like really hidden demons like CC Sabathia had.
Right.
That no one like really specifically knew about. Or at least the public anyway.
Yeah, no, CC was actually what I was going to say there. That he came out that he admitted that he had a serious drinking problem and had to get that straightened out. So this sounds like it could be the exact same situation.
Because he's been nothing but a class act on and off the field this last decade.
Yeah, obviously we'll wait to hear the full story. That
but this just seemed like so out of character, and that the entire like sports community in the comment section was like, this doesn't seem like him, and that like people weren't jumping on the train saying, oh, this is him, classic shirt. Like people wanted to hear the actual like results of like what was happening and the actual story before they jumped to any conclusions.
Right.
So I applaud people for letting journalism do its proper job and not just the bandwagon shoddy journalism we've sort of come to. Stephen A. Smith. But so hopefully everything goes right for him. He had I believe no bail was allowed, but all his charges basically lowered. He's not allowed to have alcohol, his firearm, or any non-prescription medicine right now, which is probably a good thing. Um, so
Yeah.
best of luck to him. Hopefully he gets the help he needs. Because,
No.
like I said, been a class act all these years. Hopefully this is just one little bloop and he's back to normal. He's a free agent after this offseason, so he's, I guess, looking for a home. Hopefully he finds what he needs. But on the lighter side and the Lightning side, the Tampa Bay Lightning, as I mentioned earlier, won the Stanley Cup back-to-back years. First team since the Penguins did that several years back. But apparently the cup got dented. And people were like, how could you do that, partying too hard? And apparently the report is the one guy went to go pick it up outside while it was raining and he slipped and fell.
I was gonna say,
Dented
is it the Tom Brady effect? Because that happened with the Patriots a few years ago, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, that they during the parade that they dropped the was it the Lombardi Trophy, and the NFL Super Bowl.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like. We're not exactly that much of two football bros, especially me. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I blame Tom Brady coming down and bringing that culture.
Tampa Bay.
Yep, Tampa Bay.
And then apparently over the 4th of July weekend, one of the Columbus Blue Jackets goalies died. He was 24 years old from a firework blast. Apparently he was in the hot tub and a firework went astray and hit him right in the chest. He was just relaxing, doing his own thing, but apparently fellow goalie Elvis Merzlikins, I might have butchered that, he said that he moved him and his pregnant wife away from the arc blast in the hot tub. So he said he's a hero, saved them, so we still don't have like the entire story from this situation, because at first it made it seem like he was playing with the fireworks, and then it just seemed like it was just a random thing, and now it seems like he was moving people out of the way, so who knows what kind of story we're going to hear next out of this. This just seems to like keep evolving. I'm expecting Paul Bunyan to show up in the next breaking news for this. But people really have to learn to stop playing with fireworks. Like, I think they said it was professional to set it up, but like still, like don't be having them like right next to where you are. Do it in a safe location, far away from everybody. I just don't understand the fascination with fireworks. It's high risk, low reward.
Well, they said 2020 there were 18 fatalities for fireworks, and 12 of them were related to misuse and mishandling.
It's I don't know. I feel like it's a waste of money for half a second of yay. And everyone else being like, shut up, I'm going to bed. It's 11 o'clock at night during the week.
Well, that depends on where you are. If it's at Disney or it's in New York Harbor, that's one thing. If it's in your backyard, that's another thing.
Yep. I'm just sort of sick of fireworks. And I guess just close it out a little bit more. Messi finally won his first major World Soccer tournament.
Hey, about time.
About time. And
We've been hearing for like years and years, and they're like, "Can he win
close,
something?"
And then the teams keep failing him. And then he was going to quit the Argentinian team, and then he didn't. And whatever. And then Italy beat England in the European tournament or whatever it was. So go Italy for that. I still think England got so lucky making it into that finals on that penalty kick where the
Oh
goalie
yeah.
finally guesses right, or I guess left,
Yeah.
and he makes the save,
Yeah.
but then it rebounds right to the guy who kicked it. He puts it
Yeah.
in the net, and it's like, oh. No, actually, on 4th of July, to go back to that, our friend Owen and I, we went to the park to kick the soccer ball a little bit around, and we were like doing penalty kicks and whatnot. And we both sort of came to the conclusion: you just hit it hard enough low into the corner, no one's gonna stop that. Players try to like aim for like the top corner, and it sails over. I just put it low into the ground. Goalkeeper's not gonna stop that.
No.
Not gonna stop that at all.
Yeah.
It's like free throws in basketball. Like, you're a professional, you should make that shot every time. Every single time.
Yeah, but still, congratulations to Italy for getting the right to have all their citizens riot because they won they won a championship, because that seems what happens with soccer.
Yeah, well, it's probably better with Italy, though.
Well,
England's been like really rowdy and like trashy as of like the internet's really been hating.
Yeah, although England's also on lockdown, so they'd be a limp for a little bit yet. So they're
But we were all on lockdown last year, and all those protests still happened.
Well, it's because they were all cooped up with nothing to do. Like, hey, we have nothing better to do. Let's light a firework in a city. That's a gross simplification, but you get what. Yeah, and what I guess one other thing that I just noticed come up, that it came out. We knew that Tom Brady was playing hurt, that he had surgery. It came out that he was played the entire season in 2020 with a torn MCL that he suffered at the end in the final season with the Patriots. A torn MCL for an entire season. Like in baseball, if that happens, that they're getting surgery immediately. And Tom Brady just like, no problem. I'll have a career year at age 40 something.
What's questionable about that though is that wasn't put anywhere on any of the injury reports, and that is a major injury. So someone's getting fined somewhere, but at the same time, it's like, oh well, he played with it, so whatever. I mean, like it's sort of like with hockey where you have guys playing with broken legs. The playoffs, because they're like, this is the hockey playoffs. We got to keep going and tough it out.
Yeah. So, or baseball pitchers that pitch with partially torn ligaments.
For Tanaka.
Tanaka, and that they keep going, or guys that don't even have ligaments, like R.A. Dickey.
Well, he's got a knuckleball.
Yeah. But yeah, we said we wanted to keep it short. This is kind of a good wraparound for. What it is. I guess next week we got the Olympics coming up too. That we
I don't think fans are allowed in that.
No, they're
outbreak.
No, but we have the U.S. Basketball team, and if they can right the ship after
they are not doing too well in the preseason.
And we have more. We have the trade deadline coming up in 2 weeks and a day's time.
Yep.
So we'll hopefully cover. Well, have more information as we learn about it. So, Joe, it has been a pleasure as always.
Yes, it has. Good thing I decided to wake up right before we were supposed to record.
Yeah, good thing you remembered to put a note on that. But yeah, we will talk to everyone next time.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.
All right.